National Public Radio has a thing called StoryCorps, and I scored one of about 200 spots in Colorado for StoryCorps' mobile unit. At Colorado Public Radio, they're hosting a 6-week visit by the StoryCorps, which is a national initiative to document everyday history and the unique stories of Americans, featured Fridays on National Public Radio's Morning Edition. And the mobile booth is an Airstream trailer. It's got a recording studio, and I went. If you go to radhole.com, it's a portal for all things good, all things great. There's a picture of me on there. There's the pictures of the van. And the interviews, they're conducted between two people who know each other well. A trained facilitator guides you through the interview process, and they record the interview. It's about a 40-minute session. Afterwards, I was given a CD of the interview, and a second copy becomes part of an archive at the American Folk Life Center at the Library of Congress for future generations to hear. Library of Congress, folks. Me. I'm now part of an archive at the American Folk Life Center at the Library of Congress for future generations to hear. I have a few little clips. Let me see if anyone's been trying to call. No. I have some few clips from the StoryCorps interview that I'm going to play right now.
If you could cure one disease, what would it be?
If I could cure one disease, it would be the common cold. Because it haunts us, it makes us miserable, and if we could cure the common cold, it would just be one thing less horrible that we have to worry about in this world.
You're a man who talks in terms of legacy. You bring up legacy a lot. What's your legacy? How will you be remembered?
Well, I'm going to be remembered as a good man, a kind man, hopefully one that makes a mark on the world somehow, some way. I don't know what it's going to be, or if I've done it yet, or if I will do it. That's what I want my legacy to be. I want it to be larger than life. I want it to be good, and I want it to be beautiful. How would you describe me?
Russ, you are a gentleman. A gentleman. And I mean you are gentle and kind, and you are a man. And not a lot of guys are men. You are honest and sincere. Emotional, like a Scorpio would be, right? And you're prolific. You are a big thinker, and you see the world in terms of the universe, and you see Denver in terms of the world, and you see your life in terms of Denver, and you always see things from a bigger perspective. In one word, Russ, you are a genius.
I don't deny that.
You are. You're a genius.
Wow. I'm speechless. One of the first memories I have of you relates to the tale of the locket. Now, this is a tale, sort of a fairy tale of sorts. It was in 3rd grade. Christmas time was coming up, and I saved up my money from shoveling snow and babysitting and mowing lawns. For Christmas one year, I bought Serena a silver locket. I don't know why I never did give it to you. I don't know if it was being afraid or feeling silly or young or what, but I never gave it to you, and I kept it. And then you moved away, or you moved to a different school district, and I never heard from you again. And it was devastating to a kid. You know, I didn't know what to do. I didn't have phone numbers or anything, and it was way well before the internet. So I kept this locket. I put it in storage throughout my whole life. I kept it. I really didn't think about it. It was just in a box, a dusty box, until you re-entered my life 21 years later. I'm like, wow, I have that locket that I got for Serena.
Because you poked me on Facebook.
Yeah, I saw her on Facebook, and I poked her maliciously.
Ouch.
So I'm like, well, when do I give Serena this locket? I don't want to give it to her for Christmas, which is original intention. I don't want to give it to her for New Year's. That's kind of hokey. So I waited But I pulled it out of storage. I cleaned it off as best as I could. I bought a new chain for it. I took out the faded photos that were in there of me and faded by time. And then I gave it to you with the little tail of the locket.
Mm-hmm. It's one of my most treasured possessions.
Radcast.
Houston, we've got Radcast.
That's right. It's the Radcast live from Denver, Colorado, USA, 646-915-9516. And before the little break, we were some StoryCorps clips from my interview at the StoryCorps booth, and it was an interesting experience, very interesting. And you when you're all praised that well, there's really nothing you could say. That's about all I have planned for the show, so now I'm going to wing it. I'm going to wing it. I'm a wingin'. I'm going to wing it. That's true.